Welcome, and welcome once again. This is the minor playoff grand finals. My name is Hops. As always, I'm joined by the beautiful man himself with the suavest look and the best hair in RSC. That is Vector. And on the stream, manning the helm is Sauce. Big thanks to Static Caravan by our sponsor for this season. Hope he's continue next season. And in this grand finals, we have got one hell of a lineup. We've seen some brilliant games throughout on both the A and B stream today, throughout these playoffs and the play-ins as well. But we have come down to the two top teams in these playoffs.
Toxin and Ember, the first and third seed in the Ignis Conference matchup here in the grand final. And as I was taking a little break between the series hops, I saw a wonderful sunset just gliding over the horizon, and I thought to myself, that's what's going to happen for one of these two teams. They're going to crash out of this one unhappily, but one side is going to rise above it, be the blazing glory that is going to win the minor playoffs for season 7. Will it be Toxin or will it be Ember? I think most people are probably going down the Toxin path, but I have some faith in Ember. They beat Pyre Rings pretty easily, and they did have to get into a precarious position in the lower round too. So the lower semi even. So I think that they've been the distance. They've had to fight up to get up to this grand final, and that gives them a little bit of confidence. But Toxin are so strong. It's actually crazy just how good they are. Like you talked to me about them being even a mid-table major side. That's just how fantastic their passing and their team play and everything is kind of aligning for them to take this one. And I don't expect a bracket reset personally. I hope for one, but Toxin.
Yeah, it's really tough actually. This Ember side, they are brilliant. We cannot dismiss how good these guys are. They are in the playoffs, grand finals for a reason. We saw them really dominant against the Party Rings. The speed at which they brought really is, kind of took us back in those losers finals, and that's what got them the win. These players really, showing a lot of dividends. Will it though be able to match up with the, I'd say, pinnacle play, which is Toxin right now? I think if there is any team to get the victory, to take down the mighty giants at the top of the hill, which is Toxin, it is going to be this Ember squad. Ember can take wins off Toxin. They can beat them, but it's all going to come down to that consistency and the lack of mistakes coming out from Ember, because as soon as Toxin get an inch, they take a mile. And that cannot be happening. And we know that both of these captains are on both sides, both Minty and Marbs. All they want to do is win this playoff. They want to win the league. They've guided their teams all the way to this side, and that is what's saying. And Toxin actually saying in an interview about these players, is saying that Ember is the hardest team to beat. And so Toxin, they're aware of how good Ember are. It's just whether Ember can, bring it to the level at which Toxin are playing off in these playoffs.
Yeah, they very much seem like the little light that could. This Ember looking to start a fire here in the grand final. Toxin play like a team that have already won, like a team that has so much faith in themselves. Not a single doubt has entered their mind that they're going to lose this one. I think that's what their captain said actually when the questions came through, that we asked them, that they had so much faith in themselves to beat whoever ended up in the grand final. They may have been expecting Party Rings, considering they're one of the best teams in playoffs, but it's ended up being Ember, and I just can't wait to get into it, because this is going to be a titanic clash that whoever comes out on top, they will have earned it, and it's going to be so fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to see how these two teams talk about each other. We with the captain saying on the Ember side, the player that they want to beat, the team that they want to beat is Toxin. On the other hand, you have Toxin, Captain Minty saying that the hardest team, the one that could cause an upset, is Ember. You know, there is a real acknowledgement and respect between these two teams. And if we have a quick glance at these stats over the regular season, we can really understand at how close these two sides are actually. They did place, first Toxin and third Ember, but Ember have been, are really hot right now. Both playing 64 games. But what I think is really impressive is that there is only 3 wins separating these two teams between first and third. And that really plays dividends to how close these guys are.
Yeah, mine has been close all season, quite similar to how Major tends to play out, especially down in Glacies, where things were very, very close to all the way towards the end. But up in the top of Ignis, it's just the same kind of thing that's been going on. So I don't reckon that these two teams will have too much trouble finding ways to score on one another. It's just, like I said, which one ends up being the most consistent, which has the most rock solid defense. I think either side. I don't think it's ever going to be a complete shutout between these two because they have an ability to play on the front foot in such a way that their opponent is almost scared to come out of their own half just because of the chance of like a quick shot across the field or a quick counter attack. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. The fact that you mentioned that both Toxin and Ember consider themselves to be the best, like their best opponent. That's a pattern that's been developing through the entire playoffs. It happened in Prospect, it happened in Challenger. Both teams that considered themselves the ones that would be in the grand final. It's almost spooky at this point that it keeps happening, but the fact that it is just shows how much respect they have for each other and just how close this series is probably going to end up being.
100%. And if we quickly glance at the player stats, I know the players are eagerly waiting to get into this game, so we won't dwindle too much longer on these player stats. But on Toxin, it is Cristiano, Fancy, J-Hill, and Minty. It's been J-Hill, Minty, and Cristiano, really paying that run through these playoffs. Cristiano being an incredible finisher, J-Hill being that anchor, and Minty being at the top of his game. Ember, on the other hand, has got Mobs, Eve, Mash, and Woozy. Woozy, Mash, and Eve have been the starting players. A really dominant side, and Mash actually having the least amount of games played, but being the most, the newest member of that team. Definitely plays dividends, and we know how good he has been throughout minor. But let's get these players onto their respective teams and get this game underway. And whilst we do that, let's just quickly have a chat, Vector, on predictions. And I also think I want to ask you, from your experience, within these games, what is the key to winning playoffs? What is the key to winning a crucial match? Is it that mentality? Is it that execution? Is it the mechanics? Is it the finishing? Or is it just understanding gameplay? What is it that wins you these big games?
It's consistency. That's what it all comes down to. If no one ever made mistakes, no one would score, no one would concede. And it's just about how much you can do that in a situation like this, as we are now kicked off with the grand final. The first game is underway. The minor playoffs is coming to a head as Ember and Toxin face off against one another. This is going to be an absolute barnstormer, I'm sure of it. But my personal prediction, I hate to say this, but it doesn't look anything like it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anything but Toxin's day, as their ability to control the midfield is unbelievable, as well as their mechanics. The mechanics alone come in the matches. Their ability in the air is non-stop, basically. It looks like it's the major tier when they start playing, and it's just going to be down to Ember. This is theirs to take control of. They're going to need to establish their dominance so early in this series, and if they can't do that, I feel like Toxin are just going to basically run away with it.
I do agree. However, at the beginning of this game, not a goal yet. A minute has passed, and we've often seen Toxin score early. And what I'm liking to see out of this Ember side is the amount of demos and bumps that they're going for, which could really throw off the Toxin rotations in this Game 7 best of 7 grand finals. Minty Moon in the corner of Embers, but Mash getting a touch away, looking for Woozy Panda, but he doesn't get the touch away from Cristiano, who now has the pressure. A lot of boost to work with. That's actually misses Flip. It does throw Eevee off track. However, nothing comes of it with a brilliant shot from J-Hill, but a fantastic save coming out from Mash. We see Cristiano trying to put the pressure on. Minty Moon is up, but a great touch from Woozy Panda is actually going to fake out both of them. A bit of a double commit for that shot, but once again, the rotations coming out of Toxin to clean. Cristiano is there to bump around Woozy Panda, just bullying him, and that has left the goal wide open for J Hill, and that is going to be Toxin putting the first goal on the board in this grand finals, and that comes down to just how much of a bully Cristiano was being.
The defense was holding strong for so long, and then it was just a team bump at the end. Woozy actually got, as you said, bullied through there, straight into Eevee, into the back wheel, and completely threw him off. He was actually going to easily get the 50 there, but it opened up for J Hill to finish the play, and that's what Toxin is so good at. I mean, Ember have kind of made their mark, being an aggressive side, keeping the opponent penned into their own half. You know, tight rotations, trusting each other when the play doesn't quite go well. It's a nice demo on the back line, opens it up, and they've done it themselves. Another bump happens to come through, and Eevee puts this away through the midfield. It's a bit of a double commit, but they won't care. They've got the equalizer.
What a way to answer back on the side of Ember. And, you know, people saying Toxin, they're going to run away with this game, but Ember really putting up a fight. And this could go the whole way, Vector. We could be in for a nice long ride of Rocket League. But I'm so excited for this game to continue as Minty and me go for that 50-50 in the middle. Woozy Panda with a lovely clearance is going to force Minty to actually rotate back. A great flick from him. He's actually going to play Eevee off the backboard. A little bit of an awkward touch from him, but Cristiano couldn't get the ball into the center. J Hill trying to keep the pressure onto the side of Ember, but a good 50 from Woozy in the middle. He's actually going to allow Mash to get close, but Mash actually mistimes his jump, allowing J Hill to go for a shot. What a save from Eevee to keep that second goal elusive. Minty Moon keeping the pressure on. It plays it into the corner, and there it is. J Hill with a brilliant 50 is going to take Toxin to a 2-1 lead. Mash, nothing he could have done there, and this was just a compilation of pressure coming out from this Toxin side.
What a double touch. Are you serious? Minty going into the corner there, recognizing the play was pretty much over, still getting a touch into the midfield for J Hill to secure his brace. Unbelievable play from the Toxin. We talked about Ember doing this in the last series where they were able to adapt when it wasn't quite working the first time, just go and go again. And that's what Toxin have taken from the leaf from that boat. They've probably been doing it throughout the entire playoffs, the ability to do that as well. We haven't seen much mechanics from them so far, but I think if Ember start recognizing where they're going wrong in the defense, the rotation's a little bit off the control as well. The first touches aren't going quite their way, like 9 times out of 10. So if they figure that out, this is still a close game, still 1-0, but this one could end up in as Cristiano's got a touch on that, almost put it into his own net, glancing off the crossbar to the midfield. Woozy with a shot of his own, but once again stopped just on the edge. Both defenses are doing quite well despite there being 3 goals already, but I think there's just one little thing that could break down both of these teams, and that is demoing, that is disruption. That's what got the Ember their goal, and I think if we see more of that, this could open up a lot more.
It really, really could, and it's such a close margin between these two sides. Nothing could separate them. 1 minute left on the clock, and it is Toxin in the lead, 2-1. Mash now in that corner trying to play away, but Minty Moon gets to get the touch away into the center. Woozy is there to get the clearance. However, Cristiano comes flying across the pitch to get a touch, almost leaving an open opportunity. Woozy playing it nice and patiently. Good pass to Eevee. Eevee now almost beating out Cristiano. Cristiano with one of the best of touches, leaving for J Hill, but J Hill misses his touch as well. The pressure building on the side of Ember, of a Toxin even. Can Ember capitalize on it? Cristiano trying to go for the catch pace off his own corner. Now going for the second touch. Doesn't get the second touch. 0 boost remaining for him. The ball bouncing across midfield of everybody. Minty is there, puts a shot on early, but Eevee goes, challenges nice and early to keep that away. 20 seconds left on the clock. Max puts a shot on. Is on target, but what a save coming out of Cristiano to keep that 2-1 lead. Ember really fighting for this goal. They do not want to go down in this series yet. J Hill keeping the pressure on. Woozy has to get a touch away. He pops it up. It does hit the ceiling just 4 seconds remaining. Can it be kept up by the Ember side? But no, it cannot. And Toxin going to take this first victory in this best of 7, 2-1 in this grand final. What a first game that was indeed. I had to catch my breath for a second there. Toxin doing a fantastic job at just closing out the opportunities that this very, very strong Ember side has. But in the end, Toxin able to close it out. And we're doing a really good job of showing some level of competition and prowess against them. These games could go either which way. And it does look like Vector may have had a connection issue, so it looks like a bit of a solo cast with your boy Hops right here. And now we're going to just kind of maybe see what happens, but I think we're going to keep these games going. Toxin really, really strong and showing out and showing exactly why they are going and why they are in the playoff grand finals. They have been so dominant throughout this whole league and whole season so far, showing exactly why team chemistry and the trust in your teammates plays such dividends. Ember, though, definitely have sparks of life, excuse the pun. Easy Woozy Panda and Mash showing up greatly, and I think Mash, in my opinion, is that player to step up. And you know, to bring this game to the point at which they can take it away from Toxin. Players in the lobby, if you want to join up and get this game underway, we can do, and we can get this game started ASAP. However, it does look like we may be having a quick little break here whilst we wait to get the rest of the players back into the lobby, and it does look like we are. But players, do you want to get the game underway? If you can hear me, do join up into the lobby as I've got my chat turned off. Cristiano, you can join straight up, my friend, and get this game started. But chat, I'd love to have your predictions. I'd love to know what is going on in your head. How do you see this game playing out? I'd love to see what you guys are saying right now as we try to get these players underway into this game so we can get this going. But Vector, are you back? Can you hear me, my friend? No, but he does join the VC, so hopefully a little bit of, you know, I can save my breath a little bit and do my best. Archeon predicting 4-2 for the side of Toxin, and we're trying to get this game underway as soon as possible. But as I was saying, guys, my chat is turned off, so I'm trying to get this game sorted. If maybe we can have somebody such as Archeon messaging one of the players or both of the captains to get this game that underway, that would be great. But welcome everybody from the IEL as well. We do appreciate the host. This is the minor grand finals between Toxin and Ember. Toxin up 1-0 in this best of 7 series. We do have the major and elite playoffs next weekend, which I do tune in for those. See some more fantastic Rocket League action, and a massive thanks must go into Steelblood and Static Caravan Buyer, who are our sponsors of this league. Right in the prize pool, and his generosity goes a great mile. But as we get into this second game, J-Hill and Woozy Panda both going for that kickoff. It does come over to Cristiano, trying to go for a bit of an aerial play, but AV reads that really well. Mash touches around Minty. J-Hill is there waiting in that midfield. Puts a shot onto goal, but Woozy Panda saves that nice and easily. Cristiano now playing it around 2 players, both Masha and I believe Woozy, missing that ball. Evie has to clutch up for his team on defense. Minty does get a demo onto Woozy. Going to break up the defense of the side of Ember just momentarily. J-Hill is there, pops it down, but Cristiano couldn't beat out Mash to the ball. Woozy now putting pressure onto Minty, who's waiting in that corner. Woozy Panda does get a touch away, but Minty does come away with the ball. Bit of an aerial dribble opportunity here, and a brilliant goal coming out from Minty is going to take Toxin 1-0 ahead. And look at this beautiful opportunistic edge dribble from Minty to get that goal in. Evie doing his best to try and stop the shot coming in from Minty, but in the end, Minty taking that goal. 1-0 for Toxin. Vector, can you hear me, my friends?
I can hear you, Hop, indeed. I am back. The universe didn't want me to be here, but I fought against it and I've arrived. Didn't quite catch the end of that last game, but I'm glad to be back for this. I believe it's game 3, am I right in saying that?
It's game number 2. We haven't had a third game yet. It's game number 2, and Minty Moon has made it 2-0 in this game for the favor of Toxin. Brilliant job from them, and it looks like Toxin are finding their flow, and this is something so deadly that Toxin execute. They find the weak spots of their opponents and they exploit them. There's so much patience on this Toxin side to let the opponents make a mistake, and they are capitalizing on it. This Ember side really needs to figure out a way of breaking down Toxin and not letting them control the midfield like they've been doing so well throughout this whole playoff series.
So well, indeed. I don't actually know how the first game ended. Hawks, was it a win to Toxin?
It was a win to Toxin in 2-1 win. Not much change from when you left. No goals scored, but it was a close ending there. We did see Ember showing a lot of lease of life and almost getting a goal right at the end, but in the end, it was Toxin clutching up. As I was saying, a bit of mistakes happening on defense for the side of this side of Toxin, but unfortunately for the side of Ember, not able to capitalize on those shots. Toxin seemed to be able to recuperate, and now J-Hill is there on the counter-attack. Evie playing into the corner for a counter-attack on the side of Ember. However, a great touch from Minty Moon's actually going to separate the defense of the side of Ember. Minty Moon now trying to do something here. Pass off to J-Hill. J-Hill with a shot, but it's actually blocked really well by, I believe, a Muzi Panda even. Muzi Panda is there, puts a shot into the center. Oh, brilliant save coming out from Minty. Evie there with a 50-50, does lose it out, and now it is once again Toxin on the offense. J-Hill now cheaping the pressure on Christian. Is there, puts it off the backboard. Anyone follow a shot? It is Minty Moon, plays it off the crossbar. So unfortunate, and Mash does get that clearance. Almost a third goal for Minty.
So much confidence being shown by the Toxin. They do not care about defense at times. Pushing it in through the midfield, getting so many shots away. Actually, already 6 on the board. Just past half time, but this is going towards the net, and they've got one back. Ember puts their mark on this game. We've ended up with the same score, which ended in game 1, but a nice quick shot from Mash, catching out the rotation on the Toxin side. And despite the fact that they were doing quite well, getting some of that confidence going, overconfidence is just as dangerous to this strong Toxin team as it is to anyone. So if Ember can try to exploit that, get some quick shots from their own half, they might find themselves going up against this team, mounting some sort of challenge. But it is only game 2. There's still plenty of time to bring the series back. So I'm expecting Ember to step up a little bit. Toxin aren't going to be able to keep up this pressure for I think a full 4 games. As Mash actually puts in the equalizer. This is an unbelievable comeback.
Unbelievable comeback indeed, from losing that first game, going 2-0 down, and then bringing it back. Just under 2 minutes left on the clock. Mash being that crossbar hero, as his service tag says, and getting that goal. Mash now moves it. Minty going for that kickoff. J-Hill comes away with the kickoff bouncer, but Evie in the end with a brilliant patience getting that ball away. Cristiano trying to play a little bit of solo play here, posting into the center for Mash, who puts a shot straight on. Not the patience you want to see out of him, but he is wanting to keep the pressure on to the Ember side. Minty did a really good job playing off the backboard. Cristiano is there, puts a shot on, but it's blocked by Evie. Now a counter-attack opportunity here. Can this Ember side do anything with it? Evie putting a shot into the center, but actually it was a double commit with Mash, which is going to cut off that counter-attack for Ember. Muzi Panda has something else to say about it as he plays into the corner, puts it off to Evie. Evie not able to get the touch, and Mash has to put it once again. And now all 3 players of Ember had been pushed up. Counter-attack for the side of Toxin. Cristiano doing a really good job. Beats out the flip, and the shot in from Minty, but not able to go into the back of the net. That could have been an incredible play coming out of the side of Toxin. Cristiano able to get the rotation. Black plays it into the corner where he is waiting. Gets a second touch. Actually, a nice soft touch. Playing it over one player. Minty Moon is waiting in the center. Goes to a shot. It's a little bit wide. It is just a bit wide, but still Mash there covering the angles. There's some brilliant saves coming out from both halves. Don't know if we have lost Vector again, but I am still here. See how much breath I can keep in my lungs. A nice touch from Muzi Panda playing around. J-Hill's going to throw off the Ember attack. Minty Moon going off the bad board. 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Minty trying to play a little bit of defense here. 26 left. Mash now keeping the pressure on. Toxin really having to defend here. They don't want to lose that second game. However, a brilliant bump coming out from, I believe, Mash is going to allow Muzi Panda to take the third goal with just 19 seconds remaining. What a bump coming out of Mash is going to let this Ember side take the lead in this second game of this best of 7 series. Minty Moon and Mash going for the kickoff. Minty does get demoed nice and early by Eve, which is going to really allow the pressure to come forward. However, J-Hill reading that touch so brilliantly. Mash trying to get the clearance. The pressure is on for Toxin. Can they score a goal to send it to overtime? 4 seconds remaining. The ball is still up. Can it be kept up? Cristiano rotating back. J-Hall just tries to go through the catch instead. The ball is flying across the net, and it looks like Ember is going to take this second game 3-2 over Toxin, tying up the series 1-1 in this best of 7. What a fantastic game series we've had so far. 1-1 in this game 7. This is exactly what we wanted. These guys are matched so well. So many people predicted Toxin to run away with it, but Ember really showing that force of life. And I said it in the previous game, but Mash is that player that really needs to step up, and he has done so, getting 2 goals, 1 assist, and 4 saves for his side. Vector, can you hear me?
I certainly can. I've come back just as Ember have in this series. An unbelievable performance from them, going down 2 goals early in the game and then bringing it all the way back to 3. It would be a reverse sweep in terms of best of 5, but the fact that they brought themselves back into this series so well. I mean, Mash, unbelievable performance, 700 points, 2 goals, an assist, and 4 saves. That's such a good cycle for him to get, and the perfect time to get it, perfect time to hit form. He started to arrange the twigs and the branches for this fire. You know, he's going to set. I feel like he's going to set this alight, this entire grand final alight, if he keeps up that performance. The thing that I said before I think I was probably muted or something, some silly technical issue, but I was saying that there was some uncharacteristic consistency from Toxin in that game. Shooting accuracy, especially, was starting to drop. And I thought at the time that if Ember could recognize that and start to see that Toxin weren't playing as well as they need to be, and as well as we've come to know them as, then they could start to take some control, and they did that. They did that so well. It was only 1 goal, but that's what makes all the difference. And because Ember are playing at this level, I think Toxin will start to pick it up a little bit, maybe get a bit more mechanical. We haven't seen that many solo plays from them. We know they're perfectly capable of it, but because Ember's so aggressive, because of that boost game being so starved out in the midfield, especially, we don't see that happen as much. But I think if Toxin figure that out, then Ember are really going to be in a tough spot. But bringing this back to 1-1, we certainly have the series on our hands that we really wish for.
100%, 100%. And, we talked about the element of fatigue in the losers finals that Toxin could be experiencing, and I think Toxin right now, being such a strong force, if you have a player such as Minty start fatiguing, or a player, or Cristiano, or any one of them, start fatiguing, that could really affect the rotations at which they so much thrive on. And do you think that could well be an element right now? Ember, being a little bit fresher, a bit more calmer, a bit more collected than Toxin. Could that be really a founding effect of this grand final?
It seems like that is coming into play. Yeah, I mean, when we talked about fatigue, I think pretty much we've it's always in the back of your mind that you're getting a little bit tired. I think especially Mass, I've seen him talk about it in a few the league channels where he felt like he'd play one series and he's already tired. Like, it's such a long slog to get to this point, especially if you end up going to a game 4 or a game 5, something like that. There are very few breaks in between, relatively, and when you get to this point, if you start feeling fatigued, that consistency comes into play so much more in terms of like trusting your opponents and being ready for the play. Because if they start missing, you start missing, your third man starts missing, and then it all falls apart. It doesn't seem to be going that way so far. They're stepping up to the mark. They're finding those energy reserves, and I think they can keep it going. Maybe if there's a bracket reset, we'll see that start to come into play a lot more. It'll be a lot more obvious visually, but I think they both got it in the tank for this to go the distance, and I hope that's what we end up seeing as we're still waiting, I think, for one of the players to rejoin the lobby.
Yeah, so what we are going to do is that obviously there has been some internet troubles happening, and I'm not talking about you, Vector, but I'm talking about Evie, and we want there to be, total fairness across the board in the grand finals, in these playoffs. All right, so Evie is currently sorting out Wi-Fi on his end, and with that, I'm going to sort out a glass of water. for myself. So that does mean a quick 5-minute break on our end, guys, just to sort out so Evie can get the Wi-Fi sorted. We all have experienced high ping within games, and we know it affects your gameplay, and we don't want that happening. That's why we want the fairness here. So do be patient with us, guys. We get right back into this game. It is tied 1-1 in this grand finals best of 7. 5 minutes out. Oh, wait. Does it look like everybody's back in? It does. Never mind. Ignore that. Everybody is back in. My water is gonna have to wait, Vector. But this game, number 3, is gonna get underway as we've just seen Ember come back and tie the series 1-1 in that second game victory.
I think we've just bamboozled quite a few people there, Hobbs. There might have been some that already went for snacks and stuff like that, but we're going straight away. It's Cristiano goes off the crossbar. It's a double tap to start game 3. Are you kidding me?
Cristiano. Call him Ronaldo because he is doing something unpleasant to this Ember side. I mean, talk away to bounce back. Maybe that 5-minute little break for Evie to sort out his Wi-Fi has given this Minty and Co side a little bit of breathing time, a little bit of mentality checker. But it looks like Evie is still AFK in the goal, and Minty Moon is able to put that goal in. It's really unfortunate. Evie has DC'd right now, and so I think we have to try and figure out what is going on here. And so we are going to quickly probably keep this game going. I think it has to be a 3-on-2 just for the moment, just for how our rules are going. However, we will call out the admins to get out something sorted. Archeon, could you please drop me a message on what is going on if you are listening to me? But right now, because Evie has lost connection, we have to play on. This is really unfortunate, but it is one of those things. Vector, when you have a DC on your side, what does that do to your mentality, especially with Ember, who's come back so strong?
I mean, it rarely happens. But when it does, it's just the most awful thing that I think you can see in any Rocket League lobby. When you're up in 3v2 in the worst possible moment, a grand final where you were just starting to gain some momentum. It's just, this is child's play for the Toxin. I don't know how much mercy they're going to show to this two-man Ember side. The rules do state that you cannot reset the game if a goal has already been scored, or if it's beyond the first 30-second mark, I believe it is. So the fact that we do have to play on is going to be rough for Ember. They're going to have to battle through it. It's going to be, I think, a bigger test to their discipline, to their mentality, just as people, not necessarily as players. The fact that they pretty much know they're going to lose this game quite easily unless we get Evie back at some point through the match. I don't know how likely that's going to be. But it's just what you've got to deal with sometimes. These things happen. And Toxin are going to show no mercy. But it's not the end of the world for Ember. You know, if they completely basically throw away this game and they just completely forget about it like it never happened, it's going to show obviously in the series score. But the fact that they came back so well in Game 2 will still give them some confidence, some belief, some hope that they can go into to Game 4 with their heads held high, still looking to get for that bracket reset. But this is just the worst of situations for Ember to deal with.
100%. Just to clarify, guys, we cannot reset this game because a goal was already scored before the disconnect. So it's just one of the unfortunate things, but it is the league rules to keep this game fair, to keep the league fair. And Evie can join back into this game if he's able to, but right now it just doesn't look possible. And so right now that is the way that this cookie is crumbling. So right now, a little bit of a fire must be being, sparked underneath the Ember's belly right now with this happening. Yes, there's elements of tilt, but how, your experienced player, how can you convert this potential tilt into a positive force where, it fuels you to really come back fighting stronger?
Yeah, you are right. It can go both ways. It can tilt you to the moon and back, as we do actually have Evie rejoining the lobby, and as it's happening, it's going back down the field. Almost started perfectly for the comeback in this game. But me personally, I just see everything as potential energy that you can use to put into your gameplay. It's all about how you utilize what you're given, how you handle your emotions in these awful situations, and they've done it well as Woozy puts one away. The comeback is getting started, and you're talking about a fire being lit underneath them. This might be just exactly what they need, some sort of catalyst to get them going.
Exactly. This really, really could be the moment to get back in. 2.5 minutes remaining, and Ember, we saw them high scoring. They know that they can score that, huge amounts. Shot goes off the crossbar, and that could have been another goal for this Ember side. Can we see them do the unthinkable and bring an incredible comeback? And, it's the sort of thing, Vector, if Ember pulls this comeback, Toxin, they'll be scared.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be terrified if I were Toxin. If Ember managed to pull this back, I mean, Toxin could be in the mindset that because they were 4 goals up, because the disconnect happened so early, it actually happened that they were 2 goals up when we realized that Eevee wasn't able to play. They may have got a little bit complacent, a little bit too casual for a game of this nature. I think now that Eevee's back, they'll realize that and switch up the gears just a little bit and get some of these shots away. Woozy just about keeping it out, keeping this one a bit closer than it already is. But Mash, I'm looking to Mash to step up a little bit. He had such a phenomenal performance in game 2, and we'll have to do that again, even more so in this third game to even have a chance of coming back. But I believe in them. I believe in this Ember side. I think they've got the rocks for it, the stones, to go forward. To believe in themselves, to get the goals. Almost another one for him there, but it's going to be so tough as Eevee under the crossbar. The deficit has been shortened once again. That gap is closing. We are coming for you, Toxin.
Unbelievable. Ember, as the chat is saying, it's comebackable right now. And are they going to do it? I'm excited to see what this Ember side are doing, but this is a positive impact that they have put upon themselves. Eevee trying to pop it up high across off the backboard, but Minty is there to get the coverage. You see Mash going 50-50 with Cristiano. Woozy with a shot, but it hits the crossbar again. We see Mash now play it into the corner. 60 seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to score soon if they want to do anything. But Ember, they brought this back so greatly. They've done such a good job. And even, if they score one more goal, coming back after deficits such as that. And, it's something to say. Toxin haven't scored again since it's been 3-on-3. And so that is definitely something to preach about if you're an Ember fan. 35 seconds left on the clock. Cristiano is up. Eevee actually beats him to the ball. Minty Moon is rotating back, but Mash is there waiting. But Minty able to get that pre-jump touch away. Woozy Panda tries to keep the ball forward. Eevee is there going for that shot. He plays it round 1, but Cristiano gets a demo onto Eevee. Minty is in that corner, pops it out to himself. Tries to fake out Mash, but Mash reads it very nicely. Minty still gets the possession away. Nice pinch up into the ceiling there. Who is up for it? It is Cristiano. Goes for a shot on goal, but fantastic save coming out from Woozy. Woozy gets a second touch. No, he doesn't actually face out. Minty is there going for the shot into the center, but nobody able to follow it up. And it looks like this game is going to go in the favor of Toxin, but a brilliant job from Ember to bounce back there. And the fact of the matter is, Toxin scored when it was a 3v2. They didn't score again after the AV joined back to this lobby. That, surely, if Ember can change that mentality to see like that, that is a huge props to them.
And that's very true. It's a crucial point to make that if Toxin had decided to be a little bit more gracious, a little bit more merciful, I mean, there's no expectation for them to do that. It's the opponent's problem. It's not yours. You've still got a grand final to win, and every single game matters. But if they hadn't scored 3 goals after the fact, then we'd be in a 2-2 draw at the moment. That's just the truth of it. It could have ended up in overtime. So the fact that Ember managed to not completely come back, but still to score 2 goals against their opponent, 5-0 down, that's massive for the Ember. That gives them a little bit of a break mentally, knowing that that they didn't get beat nearly as much as they might have done if Eevee didn't come back. So this is such a strong-looking team so far. I'm glad that they didn't need to make any kind of substitution, because I think if they stick together, if they lean on one another for that strength to fight through, then I think they have a chance to bring this back. That's what they did in game 2, and game 4 now. The series at 2-1. They still have a chance to push it to at least game 5.
100%. I could not agree more. Yeah, I could not agree more. But it is Toxin in the lead in this series 2-1. But Ember. A lot of fire under their bellies as we head into this game number 4. Minty does get that win off the kickoff. Woozy Panda gets a touch underneath him. Eevee is up nice and low. He doesn't get the touch himself. However, Mash is there to recuperate. A shot onto the goal. Eevee went for the bump, but couldn't bump J-Hill. That could have been a potential brilliant opener to this game number 4 for the Ember side. Mash trying to get the clearance here. He is up there. He doesn't get the best of touches. However, the pass to Eevee. What vision from Mash. I didn't even see that vector.
Absolutely perfect play from the Ember to start this game out. Woozy going for the disruption. Eevee finishing off an unbelievable pass into the midfield. All 3 players part of that play. That's exactly what you love to see. Every player doing his job diligently to open that up. I mean, it was a 3v1. Those situations are extremely rare, but the fact they took the chance when they got it shows so much from this Ember side. It shows how much faith they have in themselves, and so many chances coming through already. Toxin haven't had a single shot yet.
It looks like a second goal is going to go in for Ember, as the rotations from Toxin, who we talked about it earlier, they like playing up high, and they're very good at controlling that midfield. But Ember are finding and discovering Toxin's number right now. Right, Ember's mentality, they must be fired up. They've taken that potential tilt off Eevee's disconnect, and they have used it to a full unstoppable force.
Absolutely furious. That's how they must have been feeling after that last game, knowing that it wasn't their fault. There was nothing they could do about it, but taking this by the scruff of the neck, recognizing that it's not over till it is over. That fuel in the engine of Ember starting to create such a fire here. As a nice flip reset from Eevee is just about stopped. Mash with the second shot, but J-Hill equal to it. There's been so much pressure from the Ember. They're doing unbelievably well in the midfield, getting 5 shots. Toxin still haven't yet to go on offense. What is happening to this side right now?
I really could not tell you, Vector. We have seen all season and all playoff long this Toxin side being the offensive force which everyone is scared of, and we have never seen them be so lacking on offensive opportunities until now. Ember are angry. They are playing angry. Clinical Rocket League, as Woozy Panda does get the clearance off the bad ball. J-Hill is waiting in the back there, gets a catcher, pass it off to Minty. Minty beats one. Minty now with an opportunity. He has to put it away. J-Hill can't put it. It's an open net, and they have missed. Toxin cannot find the back of the net. It is totally eluding them.
The third man just waited at the back post like he knew that none of those shots were going to end up on target. The fact that J-Hill missed that is crazy. This never happens. He does get a nice pass into the midfield, and Minty has managed to finish it off. That was a little too easy. They'll be thinking that Ember going to a little bit too big for their boots, not rotating well enough. But the fact that they've only just managed to get a shot away almost halfway through this game is crazy defense from the Ember. The midfield especially. The aerials have been so domineering that I can't believe they're playing this way from the way that they ended up playing in the first game. I mean, it wasn't anywhere near close. So the fact that they've brought this back to where it is right now, I'm so glad to see it, and I can't wait to see what goes on for the rest of the series.
Me too, as Woozy Panda playing it off the backboard. He does have the ball again. He puts a shot really fast and on, but J-Hill reads it very well for top of his box. Minty there, playing it back to Cristiano. Cristiano playing it around one. J-Hill is there, playing it off the sidewall. Back to the pass to Minty. Minty off the back ball. Cristiano is there, and it's a goal! What a play out of the Toxin side! What was that? How many passes?
I can't even right now. Oh my goodness. Eevee tried so hard to stop that from going in, but the 1-2-3 off the sidewall. Minty knowing exactly where Cristiano was going to be, meeting the ball. Woozy going for something of his own off the kickoff. Eevee trying to follow it up, but Cristiano just about keeping this a tie game. 2 minutes left to go. This is as tight as we wanted it to be. We weren't quite ready for this, Hops. I think most people were expecting an easy win for Toxin, but a nice demo on the back line does open it up for Cristiano to put away the lead. Are Embers starting to fall? Is this fire dwindling? Are the Embers starting to show for this minor side in the grand final?
I don't know. I really don't know. I think Ember is playing unbelievably well, but I think that Toxin have just decided to implement their nitrous oxide into their cars and have turned on the afterburners because they are performing out of their mind. The passing plays from this side, but Eevee has found an opening and slotted one back for Ember. Eevee possibly igniting the spark again, like the Pokemon he is named after to suggest a fire type, and he is causing some flames on this pitch.
Unlikely touch from Minty there, coming off the sidewall. He expected someone to be in midfield, put it just in the wrong place, and this is a kickoff goal. No, just wide. They've been getting so many chances of kickoffs. Ember doing well with that strategy. A nice shot from Mash is high. That was a bit tricky for J-Hill to deal with, but did have the boost. And now getting the clear out to Minty Moon, already up the field, goes for the shot. That's just wide. They've been wanting to put some of those away, but they're throwing so many people upfield that the Ember are having the chance to actually get out of their own defensive half and create some stuff in midfield. And I feel like if Toxin continue to play like that, then Ember will take advantage of it. They have managed to bring it back to a 3-3. This is super close. You can't even think about how tight the lines are here. Just how well matched these teams actually have ended up being. And Ember still trying to find that lead as they did in the second game. Can they find it?
It's such a close game, and it's two varying playstyles that have matched up against each other. You have speed, power, and momentum out of the Ember side, and clinical precision out of the Toxin side. Both meeting each other in this fighting force. Minty a one-on-one with Mash, and Mash playing it so well, actually blocks two 50-50s. Such a good job out of the Mash to keep this scoreline 3-all. It is 30 seconds remaining. Cristiano pops it up forward where Mash is waiting. Mash tries to get a soft touch. He does so, but it does leave it for J-Hill to knock it over into the Amber's corner. Muzi Panda has to get an awkward touch away. Evie is there waiting, pops it over Cristiano, but Cristiano doing a good job of getting a touch forward. It's placed into the center. Mash is there, but cannot get to the goal in time. Unbelievable. Cristiano now with an opportunity. 8 seconds left on the clock. Muzi Panda decides to go off the wall, plays into the center where Minty moves waiting. Minty goes for the catch, but he gets bumped away. 2 seconds left on the clock. The shot is just a bit up wide, and he's gone down to overtime.
The first overtime in the grand finals of the minor playoffs. It could not have gone any other way, Hops. This is fantastic play from both sides. The defenses haven't quite been there in this game, but the offenses are ramped up, firing on all cylinders. Who is going to take it, though? I've seen brilliance from both sides, but I cannot see any just a clear winner right now.
But it looks like it is going to be Toxin. Just a little bit too much ice in those veins, and the rotations coming out from the side of Ember just a little bit too slow. A 20-second overtime goal in the favor of Toxin, courtesy of Cristiano, is going to take Toxin to a 3-1 lead in this best of 7. But I must admit, Vector, that is a bit of an underwhelming way to end that game. It was so close, it could have gone either way, but in the end, Ember just faltering slightly.
Yeah, Evie got a little bit too eager as the third man there, pushed up into the midfield, hoping to create some quick offense, and instead getting beaten through the midfield. Woozy not just having not enough pace to get to that in the end. It's quite an unfortunate way to lose, considering how well they'd played throughout the rest of the game, and now on such an awful position to be. I believe this is now match point for Toxin to take it, having won 3 games. Ember's going to have to play perfectly well. I think win 3 on the bounce just to even have a chance of getting a bracket reset. Having to do all this again, get into another best of 7. It's such an awful place to be. But they have the ability, they have the pedigree, they know that they can do it. It's just about maintaining that fire that is the Ember, putting more fuel into the engine, getting angry, getting mad. The aggressive playstyles work so well that the Toxin couldn't really handle it for such a long time. And like you said, being so clinical, being so calm and so measured in the offense, that it was just too much for Ember to deal with. But I still think this is as close as it could possibly get. And I'm looking to the Ember to step up just a little bit here. This is the time. This is when you show your best ability, your best day in Rocket League. And I can't wait to see if they do that.
If there is a time to pop off, it is now, as a own goal goes in for the side of Ember. A blessing for them in disguise.
Cristiano.
And it looks like Cristiano, with an horrible touch, is going to actually lead to that own goal. Muzi Panda getting rewarded for it because he only got the touch off the kickoff. But there we go. Ember taking this lead off a mistake of Toxin. Is that going to cost Toxin in this game? Only time will tell. But the Minty Moon himself wanting me to make a mistake and call him Monkey Moon, but I'm not that stupid. As Eevee now pops it forward. Woozy Panda is there once again trying to knock it around, but Minty is doing such a good job pushing forward, gets that mid boost. He's going to find it. He's pre-jumping for it. He almost gets the touch. That would have been incredible, but he's left J-Hill with a 2-on-1 right now. Eevee playing nice and patiently, but a little bit too slow, allowing the rest of Toxin to rotate back. Woozy Panda is there, gets a block off away from Minty's shot. Minty has gone up, but Eevee beats him to the ball. The ball's now bouncing in front of the net, and it's missed by J-Hill. How can you miss that? You cannot miss the Chopin shot like that whatsoever. Cristiano is there. Mash goes up for the ball. Minty Moon is waiting, but a little bit too far. Push up. Great touch from him. It's going to leave Eevee, though, pushing the ball into the center. J-Hill has to get the block, and he does so well as the ball was flying across the front of the goal. Woozy Panda is there. J-Hill gets a pop into the center of his own box, and is bouncing in front of the goal, and it eventually goes in. Such an unfortunate touch coming out from J-Hill, and it just set Eevee up for that shot, and it almost was saved.
Ember were given a gift with the first goal. That was such an unfortunate own goal. A missed touch from Cristiano. The misplays from the Toxin coming to the fore. Trying to get one back here, but Woozy Panda does well. It's such a hard corner to read. J-Hill missed the equalizer chance, but there's so much that Toxin have been failing to do that Ember haven't. Oh, they cast the curse again, Hops. I've done it again. They miss off the backboard, and Minty Moon scores.
Oh my word, Minty finding that opening when his team needs them the most. Honestly, send me some of that mouthwash, Minty, because I want to be as fresh as you are. And that kickoff now goes. J-Hill winning it, but it's faked as Eevee gets the kickoff touch, and it almost looks like a kickoff goal, and it is going to be because Mash slots it in. What a calculated play coming out from the side of Ember. Look, they must have practiced that.
Ember's showing some clinical nature of their own. All three players scoring. We mentioned how dangerous their kickoffs were in the last game, and it's showing right now. Goals change games, Hops. And Ember have had 3 of them. Toxin have had 1. What is going on? How have they got a 2-goal lead over such strong opponents? The upper bracket darlings going up the field now. Minty and Cristiano linking up. This is shot on target. Is it going in? Yes! Eevee tried his best, but Minty recognized where the clear was going to come from. Linking up with Cristiano, taking it back. A bit of a delayed 1-2, and actually does put it away. Now it is a 1-goal game. I love the competition in this grand final, Hops. It's unbelievable.
It is so close. No one could have predicted it, and the scoreline does not do it justice. But it is Toxin striking fast and hard, taking this to a 3-all tie, and this comes off a brilliant kickoff from Minty and getting a lovely second touch. Woozy maybe being a little bit too far up, but really nothing much he could have done there to prevent that goal. And now it is tied 3-all with 3 minutes left on the clock. Minty has gone up early. He goes off the backboard. He cannot follow it up though. Mash gets that clearance. Cristiano is there, and the pressure is now on for Toxin to get this goal. A brilliant touch coming out from Woozy is going to prevent any sort of danger for the side of Toxin. Woozy getting a nice booming clearance up. Eevee is up early, but cannot get that touch to the shot. Unfortunate. Cristiano now comes away with the ball. Mash actually fakes out Cristiano. J-Hill misses the touch of his own, which is uncharacteristic at this level. Minty Moon, though, going up there, play into the center where Eevee is waiting. He's 50-50 with Cristiano. Woozy now with a dribble opportunity here. He actually wins the 50-50 with Minty, and now J-Hill has to get an awkward touch. Mash comes flying in. Cristiano loses the 50 to Mash as well, and Minty rotates all the way back to get that clearance of his own. And still, it is back and forward, tied up 3-all with approaching the 2-minute mark.
Razor thin lines at the moment, Hawks. Both teams are doing so well in terms of 50s defending. Offense isn't quite working at the moment, but there have been 6 goals scored in this game, only just past the halfway mark pretty much. 2 minutes left to go. Woozy Panda and Mash doing so well, linking up there, not quite on target, not the finish they were looking for. But another one to the midfield. Eevee is the last man pushing up quite far there. The aggressive play almost works out. Another shot comes across as Cristiano just about taking it away from the potential lead for Ember, and then going up the field himself, trying to put something away. Minty Moon, the last one there, but Eevee coming down from the heavens to take that away. Such unbelievable play just on the edge of each other's box. It's so dangerous. It's so threatening, but it is exhilarating to watch.
Where the hell did Eevee come from? What on earth was that save? But in the end, he's kept this goal difference 3 apiece. Minty now trying to do a bit of an aerial play, but can't find that flip reset well enough. Eevee going off the sidewall, plays it around J-Hill. He does not have enough boost to work with, allowing Cristiano to get touched into the corner. J-Hill off the backboard, but a shot coming in from Mash is saved by Minty. Now J-Hill now working up with Cristiano. Cristiano is passing it off to J-Hill. J-Hill puts the shot in. Minty Moon collects it with a minute left on the clock. It's played over into the Embers corner. Minty places it into the center, but it's cleared by Eevee. Eevee passing it off to Mash. Can Mash get the touch? No, he can't, but Cristiano is there playing it off the backboard to get that clearance. Woozy Panda, misses his touch, and this is an opportunity for the side of Toxin to close the game out, and Cristiano has done exactly that, taking the lead 4-3 with 45 seconds left on the clock.
So unfortunate for Mash missing that ball. We knew just as soon as Toxin got any kind of chance going up the field on the counter, they would almost guarantee put it in, 99% of the time. That is what's going to happen. Awful way for them to concede an equalizer here, but there is still time for them to come back. They've got the ability, they've shown it throughout the entire game, and they could do it again. Here's a nice pass in field between Woozy and Mash. It's rolling onto the net. Can no one get there? J-Hill coming back from his own half, putting it away. Eevee not managing to finish that one off. That was the best golden chance they've had at the end of this game for that to happen. Now it's in the wrong side of the field. Eevee hitting it in midair once again. So many pre-jumps from Eevee, keeping these possession-based plays alive. That was a bit of time to decide what he wants to do. Decides to flick it to the right side. This is the last chance for the Ember. A nice passing play ends up going to the back wall, and J-Hill is there. Plenty of time to clear it out. Mash is not in the right position. Second man demoed. Eevee's all the way back alone and is not going to be able to do anything with it as Toxin take this game 4-3. Oh, this is awful. This is awful.
I know, and it is going to be Toxin winning your playoff grand finals 4-1 in this final game, number 5 in a 4-3 fashion. But, I cannot understate that this 4-1 scoreline of the series is not and does no way near dictate or indicate how close these games was. It could have easily been a 4-1 in the favor of Ember, but in the end, GGs must go around to Ignite Esports and Ember, who finished in second place, and your champions of the minor league of Season 7 are Toxin.
Extinguishing the fire that is the Ember. It burned so brightly for so long in that series, and as you said, the 4-1 does not do that justice whatsoever. It completely flatters the Toxin. I mean, they played fantastically well, of course, but so did Ember. If that hadn't happened, if Eevee didn't disconnect, this could be a completely different situation right now. They deserved to get at least one more game in that series. And the fact that it's ended 4-1, just as a Challenger did last night, it's such an unfortunate way for it to end. It's so deflating. It feels like that deserved to go to a game 7 at the very least, even if there wasn't a bracket reset. They earned that right to play for that kind of chance. But just unfortunate for them. Commiserations, of course, to Ember, but Toxin played their hearts out and they got the result that they deserve from the level of play, other than what happened in that unfortunate game. But they are here now. The champions of Minor have joined us. The playoff darlings have gone all the way to the end through the playoffs, and I can't congratulate you more, lads. You've done so well to get to this point, sweeping aside. Who was it actually? I've completely forgotten now.
Party Rings you destroyed.
Party Rings, yeah.
Fearless Echo as well.
Fearless Echo. But a massive props to all of you guys. And I mean, I'm going to come over to Minty, the captain, to start off with. You played incredibly well, and a massive GGs to you all around. But what is it like? You've just won the minor playoffs now. Anything to say about your team and the way that you played throughout this season?
We played really well, and I'm very proud of my team for the whole season. Yeah, I have to go soft on the lads because we don't usually go soft. Like, you should have seen what we were doing like half an hour before the playoffs.
Oh, bro,
it wasn't pretty. But I think we played like really well today. I think it was like the second game in the grand final. It was like we need to come back now. Like, I was a bit worried, but, we brung it home in the end. So, pretty hype.
That's good stuff to hear, Minty. And Cristiano, you've been chatting a lot in the Twitch chat and in the chat in game. I mean, you've had massive amount of confidence, but did Ember surprise you with how well they played? Because they really did put up a fight. They weren't massive sweeps like you've been having in the rest of the playoff games.
They were good players, to be fair. They had good chances, but we were just lucky because we had Minty on our team.
That's good stuff indeed. And Jay Hill, I can hear you tapping away on your. I can hear you tapping away on your keyboard. You could probably put some dampeners on those keys for you. But Jay Hill, you've been like this anchor throughout the whole of the playoffs. You've set up so many fantastic chances that I've seen, some brilliant finishes. What is it like playing with two players such as Cristiano and Minty who have such finishing capability?
My job is so easy in this team. I just boom it up, and they'll hit any redirect, they'll hit any double tap. I just have to send it up to the pitch because these two are mechanical masterminds. They're so good at the game. And as you saw in the last series, I basically got carried. My head went after the first game. But yeah, this season's been it's not easy. It's never easy, but this season's definitely helped me improve, and like having these good teammates is what you want.
100%, 100%, 100%. And I have one final question before I hand over to Vector, who I'm sure wants to ask some stuff as well. But my last question is directed at you, Fancy. We didn't see you, I think, at all throughout the playoffs, but spectating your team from the sidelines and talking to them in VCs and everything like that. You must be so proud to see your teammates play like this. And what does it feel like to see them get this victory for your team?
Well, they've played so well the whole season. They've played like this the whole season. Actually, they've never slowed down or anything. They're so good. I couldn't be prouder.
Very nice indeed. So Vector, let me hand over to you. I'm sure you've got some things to say to these boys.
Yeah, just a couple, of course. First off, congratulations. You played fantastically well, going all the way through playoffs and, of course, all the way through league play. Absolute, utter dominance in that league. I think you ended up with like 264 goals by the end. Nonsense, by the way. Just want to mention that. But the main the questions that I had, the first one would be in regards to Ember, your opponents that you've ended up beating here. I'm going to ask Minty, did you expect for them to come out with such a performance against you, knowing that you beat Party Rings so easily, and then Party Rings end up getting swept, in fact, by this Ember side? You've played them a bit in Ignis, of course, because you're in the same conference. You've matched them twice before. But did you expect such a prolific comeback from them?
I did indeed. I put them down as the hardest team we're going to face in the little Google Doc sheet that I was sent. And I was actually surprised at beating them 4-1, to be honest. I thought it would be like 4-2, 4-3, or even like a bracket reset. But we played really well. I think Chris had insane mechanical plays and carried me as well. So me and Jay Hill got carried by Chris, I would like to say.
Yeah, we did. Well, we had a brilliant coach as well. I mean, not as many coaching
Shout
sessions.
out to Boopy.
Yeah, Boopy didn't have as many coaching sessions as we would have liked, but in the end, we didn't. In the end, we didn't need it, and the one session or two sessions we did have, it worked wonders.
Yeah, Boopy's gonna love that. He does enjoy getting shouted out on stream. So thank you from him. I think if you could thank you 1,000 times, he would. But yeah, I completely agree that you're all mechanical masterminds, as Jay Hill said, and the fact that you're all so modest as well. You make your teammates look better than you do. You talk about them so much, and I think that's a big part of why you work so well together as one unit instead of three individual players. You recognize each other's strengths and how you can help each other improve, rather than just being that star player and being that shining light leading you forward. But the last question I have to ask is for you again, Minty. You've won Challenger. You did it last season. You've won Minor. You've done it this season. What are your aspirations going forward? Are you looking at that Minor trophy thinking, you know what, I want a third trophy? Is that something you want?
Well, we go again in Major, because that's where I'll be next season, because I peaked quite high this season. So, third trophy Major. Yay.
I think we'll all be...
and then fourth trophy
Minus
Elite.
Well, that is quite a lofty ambition. I wouldn't put you past it. I mean, myself and Ops actually talked about it. You look like a potential strong major team just from the play alone, and the consistency rises quite a bit up there. So I'm sure you're eager to get the challenge of that once you go up next season. But you've won minor today, and I hope you go off and celebrate as long into the night as you can, because it's tough. These moments are rare, but you've clutched it well.
Hog moment. Yeah.
Yeah, a massive GG's to all of you, and I think we have left one man out who we haven't said much to, but he is on your screens right now, and that is the big man himself, Mr. Archeon, who started off this Symbiote franchise right at the beginning of the season, and he has led this minor team to a victory. Archeon, I mean, you must be feeling really good after that game, after that series.
I'm just really ecstatic for the players, to be honest. Like you said, I started up this franchise fresh. I'd only been a GM for like 7 weeks last season, taking over someone else. Put a lot of work into getting the franchise built and getting the players in, and we actually spent a lot of time on this Toxin side pre-season. We had a number of tryouts. Evoke, I have to thank Evoke for being my 2IC at the time. He was one of the players that eventually got bumped up to major because of his peak. He built the team around Minty, and in the end, we kind of got cooked in draft, didn't we, Minty? Because we wanted Luke Foss and Beefcake initially, and they got taken off us, and we ended up with a really great pick in Cristiano. We didn't know much about him, but he's come in and done brilliantly for us, and Jay Hill as well. As soon as I asked Shires to take him over this season, he's just done wonders. He's improved so much since playoffs last season. Also, Fancy as well was prospect last season, and he's just improved massively, and he's been a really, really solid sub, and he's allowed us to get those free 1500s into our team, really.
It's a big props indeed, Narkin. You've done so much work on this Symbiote side. Yeah, Symbiote franchise, you must be very proud indeed. And I think the final question for you, which I love asking, and it goes around the whole time, and I have to ask the GM himself of your favorite moments and the highlights from your team in the whole of playoffs, and and actually I'll extend that to the whole season. Archeon, what was that pick of the highlight for you for this Toxin side?
I honestly can't highlight one moment. The playoffs have been full of team plays and mechanical plays, and I think mid-season this team's flicked a switch and just took it up a notch, because first few weeks we were having trouble with people pushing too far up the field. We needed coaching sessions about how to defend, but second half of the season and during playoffs, I mean, this team's just become like a mechanical team of gods, really. I can't do anything of the sort that they do, and we saw it in the playoffs. That just so many team plays, which could have been like clip of the week, clip of the season. But I also want to end on congratulating the runners-up. Ember did brilliantly today. It was the only team I could see taking down this one, and Ujkan performed brilliantly. Evie was really unfortunate with the disconnect. I think the game could have gone a different way if that didn't happen. But yeah, congratulations to Ember, who have done Ignis proud as well as Toxin.
So massive props from everybody in this lobby to Ember and everybody in the chat. They performed unbelievably well and are definitely a force to look out for, all of these players and the team, as the seasons progress heading into season 8. Any final words from any of you players before we move on to closing out this stream?
Boopy's a cutie, that's all I'm going to say.
I have to
Goofy,
shout
best
out
coach ever.
Skies because he wants me to shout him out. So KZA, I have to shout him out.
Okay, so there we go. A shout out to KZA and Boopy. You are a cutie. So there we go, guys. Those are the final words from your champions of the minor playoffs. Vector, before I go on a rant, give me your summary. Give me your elite, amazing, top tier gameplay summary of that series.
Well, started out well, of course. for the Toxin. Everybody believed that was the way it was going to go through the entire series. But I felt like Ember started to gather the kindling. They lit the spark, but that was all that they could muster. They couldn't quite fathom a blaze. They couldn't muster it into a blaze, and it was unfortunate to see. The fact that it ended 4-1 was almost criminal. It felt like Toxin stole it in some moments, as they did in one of the games, obviously with the disconnect that Archeon mentioned. But they played so well. It was a valiant effort. Just wasn't enough on the day. These things happen. It's the nature of competition. There has to be losers. There can only be one winner. And with that ended up being Toxin on all the ambitions they have for going up into Major next season. I can't wait to see what they're capable of, because this performance in Minor was top notch. And it's just, I'm so glad that I could be here to cast over it, and alongside you as well, Hobbs. It's been a blast.
It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. I always thoroughly enjoy casting with you, my friend Vector. Such an analytical and such a wise mind of any sort of Rocket League gameplay. If you need tips and tricks, he is definitely the man you want to go to. However, this does bring us to the end of the minor playoffs, and I have to thank the sponsor, StaticCaravanBuyer.com, for all your Static Caravan needs, presented by Steeblood, who is a member of this society and a fantastic man himself, and also the guy in the background, Mr. Source, who without him, this stream wouldn't be a thing, wouldn't have run as smoothly. So a massive thanks, and can we get some pork champs and thank yous in chat for Source, who has done this mammoth stream throughout the whole time. So there we go. That brings us to the end. Do follow us on RSC_EU on Twitter. Go to rsceu.co.uk as a website, and obviously you're here on Twitch. Just a few announcements and a few teasers, guys. I hope you're ready. Are we all listening? Let me know if you're listening, because I've got some things that we have to tease. Obviously, the release start date is up for next season. You can find it in sign-ups here, so any new players wanting to sign up to be picked up by a team for next season, then go and sign up there. GM applications are open, and sign-ups will start for the next season will open on Monday the 9th of August. So any sign-ups for next season will open on Monday the 9th of August, and GM applications are now open. And also, guys, something big is on the horizon. Only a few people know, but something massive is on the horizon. A week to this time, I will be giving out the announcement after the Elite Finals, guys. So don't go anywhere, okay? Be here. Tune in for the Elite Finals, because there is a huge announcement coming, and I don't think anyone is actually ready for it. The second thing is, myself. I have a big announcement happening very, very soon. Okay, guys? So be here for the Elite Final next week. Honestly, listen, I will get my eyebrows pierced if people don't like the announcement. No cap, okay? That's how good the announcement is, all right? Okay? That's how good it is, okay?
We've
Anyway,
burned by this before.
I know.
Make these promises.
Listen. The piercings are coming. Can I just say? Just don't worry. I had to go see family and stuff like that. That prevented it. You will get that soon. But after next week, we have got on Thursday and Friday the play-ins for both Major and Elite. And on Saturday we have got the Major playoffs, and on Sunday it is the Elite playoffs. So guys, do tune in for those and listen out for the big announcements on Sunday. My name has been Hops. I've been joined by the fantastic Vector for these final two games, and Source has been manning the helm throughout this evening. A thank you to everyone who has joined in, and a massive GG's to all the players who have played. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening, and we will see you next week for some more RSC Rocket League action. See you very soon.